and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I did my makeup as a guest to a wedding. This is a very holiday inspired look, but I just thought to post it anyway since I did wear it to a wedding, and I'm sorry that I took so much time posting it. I've just been so busy traveling that I have had no motivation to do this. I know, first world problems. Moving on. So since I have already moisturized and primed my face, I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with the Naked Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in medium light. It is the Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. Then I'm going to set this with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. And the reason I do this is not just to set the concealer so it doesn't crease, but also so that the eyeshadow later on blends way more smoothly. You know, powder on top of powder. It makes sense. Next, I'm going in with my transition color Blondie by NARS. I'm going to start to define my crease, and this eyeshadow is a very light tan nude color, perfect for my transition color personally. This might not work for everyone, depending on your skin coloring. You might need something lighter or darker, but this works for me. This look requires so much dimension and definition, and you really need to build that up slowly by layer. So that in your end result, you can truly see how that dimension was created. So you need to go in with something light and then build up to dark. After that, I went in with Saddle by MAC. I'm like obsessed with this brown shade. It's like this true Indian brown to me with a red tint in it, which I love personally because I feel like it really makes any eyes pop. It's not a dull, muted brown shade. It's like a rich, bright neutral, I would say. So I started to go in with my MAC brush 224 with Embark by MAC, but I realized the brush was too fluffy and I wanted to use a more precise blending brush, so I switched to this Morphe brush G18, and this way it could really pack on more color and make that color appear darker, and I could use this brush in my inner corner without getting too messy. So I'm continuing to pack on Embark by MAC, and as I'm doing so, I'm going to start mixing in the color Blackout from the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, which is just a solid matte black. And the reason I'm mixing these two and not just going in with a solid black is because I'm trying to build dimension by layering these two rich colors, and it's easier to smoke out this way without getting harsh lines. So again, taking Embark and Blackout, I'm going into my inner crease to darken this up, and then I'm going to start to drag and blend it into my outer crease, leaving the middle of my eyelid as blank as possible. Now don't worry if you do get shadow in the middle of your eyelid, because we're just going to cover it up later anyways, and it's super easy to blend out, so don't worry. This eye tutorial can start to look really sloppy at this stage, and you might not be able to see it coming together, but just keep blending because the end results do look amazing. So in the center of my eyelid, I tried to go in with the color X by Urban Decay with this MAC Synthetic Brush 242, but as you can see, it was not giving me the metallic shimmer I was looking for, so I went in with this pigment by NYX Ultra Pearl Mania, and I'm not sure if I just scratched off the color name, but I'll try and link it down below. But oh my gosh, look at what a difference it made. It's literally so bright. Doing a pigment like this in the center of your lid can really make your eyes appear larger if you do have smaller eyes. But it just makes such a difference. It's so bright. So I'm just taking a little more Embark and popping it in my inner corner because I felt like the NYX pigment kind of overtook it. So I'm just going to darken that right back up. Now for my liner, I'm using Maybelline Eye Studio in the Black is Black. I will do a more detailed tutorial on my liner because it's kind of difficult to see here with the dark shadows. So I'm just going to fast forward right through that. Okay, now that my liner is done, I went ahead and blended some shadow on the bottom to really pull this look together. I use this Precision Blending Brush by NARS in the number 14, I believe. And I just used Embark and Blackout again, and then I went over that with Blondie, the eyeshadow by NARS, just to really blend that out and use and add some extra dimension. So since this is a dramatic look, I just wanted to fill in the blank spaces in my brows using the Instant Brow Pencil by Benefit in Deep, just so that everything just looked together. I don't normally do this if it's a more natural look, but with a dramatic look, I normally do this. So for my foundation, I'm mixing the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer in Groenland and the Born This Way Foundation by Too Faced in Warm Beige. And I'm just going to spray a little MAC Fix Plus on my Morphe brush in M439, just because the Max Fix Plus has glycerin in it, which makes the foundation stick to your face a lot better. It gives you a longer wear. And I love this brush. It's one of my favorite brushes. I've been using it for months. I just cannot rave anymore about this brush. I love it. So using my favorite concealer ever, the Naked Skin in Medium Light Neutral, the one that I used earlier, I'm going to brighten my under eye area. And I'm also going to add this to my nose and my forehead. Normally if I brighten my under eye area, I feel the need to brighten these areas as well, because then it just starts to look stark bright under my eyes, whereas if I do my nose and my forehead, when the light hits all those spots, it just looks a lot more natural. Honestly, I don't know what I was feeling here. I added a few drops of the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NW20, and let me tell you, the consistency of this concealer is so thick. I forgot how thick it was because I've been using the Naked Skin concealer for so long, and that one is so weightless that this one was like, it was so hard to blend out. But what can you do? I had to work with what I put on my face, so I just took a really damp beauty blender and I started to blend all of that out. And as you can see, it is looking very, very bright. Using some of that same Naked concealer, I sculpted my brows with using the MAC synthetic brush in 195, I believe. The numbers are scratched off, so I'm going to have to double check. This is a really good idea if you have stray hairs that you want to hide, or just to make your brows look even more defined. So I'm going to start contouring using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation Stick in the 177, which equals the Y505 if you're wondering. And I just got this product recently and I am seriously so obsessed with it. It's my new favorite way to contour. Normally when I contour, I use a few different products. Maybe I'd use a different product for my nose rather than my cheekbones. But I've just been using this one all over just because it is so easy to blend out. The consistency is honestly amazing and the color is just perfect. So I'm just going to apply that on my cheekbones, my nose, my jawline, and right above my temples. And I'm going to use a damp beauty blender, and the trick to blending this out is to blend the contour upwards rather than downwards. So you want to tap, 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 and blend upwards. That way it makes your cheekbones appear higher, rather than if you blended downwards, it would do the complete opposite. Using my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, I'm just going to use this to set my under eye area so the concealer does not crease. Using the Morphe brush M460, I'm also going to take some of that Secret Brightening Powder and I'm going to apply it right underneath my contour to carve it out. I'm going to leave that on to bake for a little bit while I take my Becca bronzer in the Shadow and Light Bronze Perfector palette thing, and I'm going to just use this Morphe G5 brush, and I'm going to go over the areas where I contoured before with the Makeup Forever foundation stick, just because I don't want it to move, so I'm going to set it with a bronzing powder. And then I'm going to take my Makeup Forever M40 brush, which is my favorite brush of all time, and I'm going to blend out that brightening powder. And as you can see, it really carved out my contour, which I love. I only do this for dramatic looks. I love the way it looks. It really brightens your face without making it look too white. Now I'm going to take this Mineralized blush by MAC in the color Warm Soul. This blush is so beautiful. I just bought it and I've used it a few times. And I've come to the conclusion that this blush is just for anyone. It's like such a universal blush. It just goes on so beautifully. I feel like it's for all seasons. It's got these little like shimmer reflex in it, and I just think it just blends so beautifully on the skin. I love it. I'm gonna pop on a layer of mascara before I put on my false lashes. I like to do this so that they blend better with the false lashes without ruining them with mascara, as opposed to putting on mascara after your false lashes. So I like to do that. I'm using the House of Lashes Noir Fairy, and they just came out so beautiful. They're natural yet very dramatic. So for highlight, I'm using Girl Meets Pearl by Benefit, and I'm just going to apply this to the high points of my face, being the temples and the cheekbones. And I decided one highlighter was not enough, clearly, for this dramatic look. So I went in with High Beam, also by Benefit, and this is an extremely bright highlighter. Probably unnecessary to mix, but whatever. I went a little crazy. What can you do? I also put some on my Cupid's bow. So I'm just going to tap this away with a damp beauty blender to achieve a beautiful highlight. I love using liquid highlighters because I feel like they stick to my skin so much better than a powder highlighter in some instances, depending on the conditions that my skin is going through at that time. And I just feel like liquid highlighters give you a way more natural, beautiful, glowing complexion. So for my brow highlight, I'm going to take this MAC Synthetic Brush 242 and my favorite brow highlight of all time, Nylon by MAC. And I'm just going to stick that right on the high point where the arch is of my brow. For my lip liner, I am using Strip Down by MAC. This is one of my all-time favorites. I think this was the first lip liner I had in my collection. I never used lip liner before this one. I wanted to keep this lip super neutral, so I decided to use some Honey Love, also one of my original lipsticks in my collection by MAC, and just go right over that lip liner. I wanted to gloss up my lips with this MAC Luster Glass in Love Nectar. I love this color. It is so peachy nude and it's so glossy. It's probably one of the only lip glosses I've ever used that actually stays on my lips for hours. And that's my tutorial, everyone. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for my next one. Bye!